everybody. Shane Rice here. Web Marketing Recap Call. Kicking it off with a little bit of rock and roll this morning. Chris Springsteen here. Let's jump right into it, though. We're going to cover metrics first, like we always do. So I'll share my screen, and we will just go through the numbers here. So so far we are. Oh, there we go. Can you see the agenda? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, cool. So we are 10.99% of the way through the quarter. We couldn't get that last 100th of a percent. I really like round numbers, and I wanted to hit 11, but we didn't. So it's okay. Not anything we can do to change that number. So when you look at website traffic, users still dropping a little bit. Very concerned about that. Keeping an eye on that closely. Page views are stabilizing. Dropped a little bit, but not as much as it did the previous week. And then when you look at the strategic marketing breakout buckets, there, is still, a lot of concern there, but we're, making headway on some of these, actually gaining numbers as we look at, the year-over-year growth there. Moving on.
Hey, Shane, just for a second, your mic's pretty quiet.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, Shane, you get post-music mic drop.
Gosh, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Do it a little bit higher.
Hold on. All right. What about now?
That's okay.
All right. All right. So moving on to MQLs. So we have 625 large MQLs so far in the quarter. That is a little bit of a drop from last week. Last week we were over 100%. So that is at risk as far as our goal. But very happy with what we're seeing there. Mid-market, SMB are both still above 100%, on track green there. Not a whole lot to report other than, we're continue to see that strong demand that we've seen the last few weeks there. Moving on to inquiries. So this is something we're going to be reporting on more as we go into quarter one. And so right now we don't have specific goals, but I just want to report what we're seeing so far in this month and in the quarter, to kind of level set and give us a sense of what we can expect here. So when you look at enterprise trials month to date and then pace that out over 30 days, we're on pace to have 1,505 enterprise trials come through as in that inbound email inquiry category. SaaS trial is at 5,010. You can see the numbers for last month. So we're a little bit behind on enterprise, a little bit ahead on SaaS. And then when you look at GitLab.com signups, we're actually seeing that trend really well from October to November. So you can click to see the inquiry data here, and let's see how they got it pulled up. So yeah, when you look, have a lot of categories that we don't influence here. So I take out things like AE generated, conference, field event, LinkedIn, owned event, purchase list. You just take these out, and that's how we kind of arrive at these numbers. So any questions about email inquiries? I know this is new and something that we have just started. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't see any in the agenda, but if you have one, you can vocalize it now. We can always add it. All right, let's see. So Luke is not on the call, but this is our show and tell portion. So I'll just kick that off, and I will hand it over to Niall.
Yeah, hi. So one of the projects I completed this week was just doing the keyword landscape and keyword opportunity and topical analysis for an upcoming competitive campaign. I won't visualize it because some of the information is contained in it. There is a link to the issue containing it and the research information. So if anyone wants to view it and just take it a look through, and any queries just come back. And one of the other things we're going to do is and just try and improve their integration to the overall strategy at the moment. So if anyone has any questions, just reach out. And following that, I shall hand it on to Becky.
Hey, y'all. So I was going to do a separate video of this, but I think it's actually just best if we do it on here. I am going to share our phase 2 website refresh results. So hopefully, can you guys see my screen here? Cool. So just a quick refresh of what we were doing on here is the aim was to update the top 10 to 20 pages, and the scope was very small. We wanted to do these as quick wins, and it did, there were a few things that we found were a little trickier along the way. But I have put on this mural board, I put what the page looked like before, what it looks like now, and just a summary of what we did. So starting off with the free trial page here, this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like after. So we have added a bottom, are you not sure? Please, this is your option. We updated the graphics. It's much cleaner, it's much shorter. It looks great. So for the demo, this was before and after. So this is a Marketo form, so we didn't have as much that we could work with. But again, you can see this is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like after. On to our, let's see, what is GitLab? So we had a few things on here for what is GitLab and why. One of the things we did is we kind of defined the purpose of the page, and then we updated the video, the graphics, and the copy. So quickly looking at it before, this is what it looked like. We had a few different things. So we had a lot of a mix of like GitLab, the product, and open source, getting started, compare GitLab with other tools. And now we have all of our kind of brand pillars over here. So we have GitLab community, what GitLab does, open source, leading the all remote lifecycle. And then over here, I'm sorry that I'm doing this on this mural board. I'm hoping that it's a little bit, it's not too Blair Witch Project for everybody. So why the why page, again, we put a little bit of a consideration on what we wanted to talk about on this page. So this is what the page looked like before. And for quick wins, this is what it looks like now. So we didn't update the graphics on here, but we did clean them up a little bit. And there's a lot of great copy updates here. Over to the community page. Vic updated the icons for the community page. And we also reordered them based on kind of the clicks that we saw and what people thought were important to make sure that we had the things that were important up at the top. And then we added free trial at the bottom. This is the DevOps tool landscape page. So we didn't have too much on here. We did update the copy to make sure that we could get people directly into this. It's a little bit quicker. The icons here are updated as well. And we updated the copy on the bottom CTA. For the stages of the DevOps lifecycle, here we have some just quick wins. Again, copy updates. We've added some icons and a free trial. For continuous integration, we have, again, updated copy. We have updated graphics. This one is going to get updated this week. For source code management, you can see here, again, the same thing where we have some quick wins on visuals, and we added free trial. And then I'm just going to go through these really quickly, make sure I don't take up all the time on here, but the solutions DevSecOps page, we did a lot of updates here. You can see the graphics are updated. The videos have been updated. I want to thank everybody on the strategic marketing team for helping us jump in and understand some of the things that we were working on to get these done within the quarter. For agile delivery, again, updated graphics, alignment. The value stream management page was much longer before, so it had all these videos on it. So now it has a video band here so that people can go through these very quickly. And we added the free trial page. This is one of my favorites. This was the search page before. So it was just this. And now it's nice and pretty. We looked at things that people were looking for the most, and we put them on here so that they could get to it quickly. For the releases page, this one was a little tricky, but we managed to at least get some icons on there and a free trial module at the bottom. And then the resources page, oops, I didn't lock that one. I know that there's a lot of updates here that we wanted to do, but Vic worked on updating the graphics here, and we put that free trial module at the end. And then for features, we're still working on this one, but we are going to, the features page is very, very long, and this is not sticky. So we are working on having this be sticky and adding some icons as well. So those were just quick wins that we could go through. And I'm going to hand it over to Shane. This is the results.
Thanks, Becky. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, great. Yeah, so what we're looking at here is I created a dashboard that just looks at the pages that were included in the website refresh. And we're looking at page views and then entrances. That's how many people are, starting their journey on this page. So that's an indication of SEO growth. Also, if we're running paid advertising, those kind of things. The real thing to look at here is CTA events. because when we add these CTAs to these pages, we're actually, for the first time on some of these, giving people an additional action to take. So, on these pages, we grew CTA events over 16%, and then form events for these pages also increase as well. So the form events you're going to see are the SaaS trial click and then the demo. Not every one of the pages has a form on it. So, but we're still seeing that increase tremendously for the period that we're looking at over the last 30 days. And if you looked over the quarter, you would see these numbers are, even I believe even better on the CTA events, and in particular, I believe it was a little bit higher when we look at like the full quarter as a comparison.
Awesome. I'm going to stop sharing now, Shane, so because I think you have the next one on there. And then we are going to do an update on this in about 30 days from now when we can see some actual SEO results. And I will put that in the issue that I linked here, and then we'll close that out. So I will stop sharing. On to you, Shane.
Thanks, Becky. That was amazing to see all the work we've done. Great work, everybody. I want to share just the A/B test we did with the nav, and see show what we've seen since moving that to 100% production. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at CTA events that include the click class of btn-nav-CTA. That's the nav button on the top. If you click on that, that's the click class, the CSS class. And so what you see here on the orange line, these are clicks on that global CTA nav in the period immediately before the test. And then above in the blue line, that is when we were running the test. And then here is when we removed the test and made this live 100% across production. So this little dip here, we're still 100% above where we were in the previous period. I'm sorry, not 100, 83% above that. I think part of the reason why we're seeing this dip is when we were running the test, we were using Google Optimize. And so there's a brief kind of moment whenever you first loaded the page before the test would load sometimes. And so that would create movement in that corner and draw attention to the CTA button. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a drop from what we saw in the test, just because we're not drawing the eye to the button with that motion. So something I'm keeping an eye on, something that as we continue to watch this over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to see if we see this tick back up or if it stays level. But my anticipation is we're going to see this increase drop just a little bit because we're not having that movement associated with the button. So, but wanted everybody to know that this test is concluded, live across 100% of the site at this point, and we're going to continue to monitor it. So with that, I'll stop sharing my screen, and I believe I'm going to pass it over to Erica for shout outs.
Hello, this is the other Erica filling in for Erica Lindbergh on shout outs. So I will pass it on to Monica, who looks like she has the first
Hey, I
one.
wanted to shout out Vic because she created the icon library, and I've been using that like every other day. So it's definitely being put to use. It's really streamlining everything. So I am so grateful for that useful tool that she created. Next is Lauren.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out Brandon and Nahabi for having a transparent conversation about dev techniques and coding principles. I really value being able to get super nerdy about dev stuff with other devs. Pass it over to Becky.
Hey all, so I'm going to go through these quickly. So I wanted to shout out Shane for helping me with that dashboard. I also, instead of just having him do it quickly, I made him sit on a video call with me so he could teach me how to fish on it, which was very helpful, especially because I haven't done really too much in GA for GitLab, and it's a little confusing sometimes, but it's really great information. And then Lauren, I mean, she slayed the end of those phase 2 updates. I don't know if I actually put it in last week, but I was ready to kind of like give them to someone else. And she was like, bam, 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 bam. So thank you so much for that. It was amazing. Michael, thank you for figuring out that 20% internal agency thing, so I didn't have to keep bugging you about that. And then also I want to just shout out Will and Rebecca, because there's an issue that we've been working through on trying to solve some things for blog and social, and the two of them put all the information in there, and I think it'll be a nice, easy solve. So that was a great collab. So thank you all. On to Brandon.
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks to Lauren, kind of same as Becky was talking about, but I haven't had a chance to get to a lot of those issues. So thanks to Lauren for picking up so many things and getting them finished quickly and doing a great job. And yeah, I think that's the last of the shout outs.
All right. With the final shout out, we will end the recording of this call and move on to the final portion. So let me stop the recording now.